enable.
We all dream of retiring rich, but our dreams often take a hit when the reality of our daily lives kicks in. In today's world, we need to be financially responsible and invest wisely, linking our life goals to our investments. That's where we come in. Hello and welcome to Season 5 of NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV18. I'm your host Mridhu Bhandari, and we're here to tell you all that you need to know about personal finance and wealth management. Today we are in Gurugram at the Fortis Research Memorial Institute. That's one of India's largest multi-specialty hospitals and healthcare institutes. It's a company with a vision to create a world-class integrated healthcare delivery system in India, entailing the finest medical skills and distinctive patient care. Fortis, founded in 1996, is today one of the country's fastest-growing healthcare groups that's making its presence felt internationally as well. And NSE FinWiz, with its theme Dream On, engaged with the employees at Fortis in Gurugram to understand their thoughts on financial planning and help them allocate their assets wisely.
Financial literacy is the knowledge of how we can achieve the goals for our future, what we want to do in our later part of the life, and how we secure for that in the current scenario.
Financial literacy to me means that how you are able to take care of your future financial prospects, how you're able to make sure that you get yourself financially secured for you as well as your family.
I want to invest in property. I think it's a huge high for me to have a property or a home in my name, and that would be wonderful, right? To start planning for that, get that corpus together besides the loan that I would need, what are the kind of loans that I can get. One is that, and the second thing is planning some sort of a cover for myself and of course for my family for health.
What is the balance? How much percentage should you really invest in? What would be the basic, take-home message for us? And it should be very simple. For simple, not really using jargons and stuff. We would want to really understand that if you have X amount of money, what percentage should go into this, and something that we can take back and really do something with it.
Welcome to NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV18. Today we are at the Fortis Memorial Research Institute in Gurugram, and our set of financial experts is all set to get engaged with the employees of Fortis here. Welcome, gentlemen. Let's introduce the panel to you. Ankur Kapoor, founder of Plutus Capital, and Tanveer Alam, founder of FinCart. Thank you so much for joining us on NSE FinWiz Season 5, gentlemen. So, Tanveer, perhaps we can start with you telling us how essential is it to start early, and how important is it to leverage the power of compounding as early as possible?
Okay. I think the only secret sauce to wealth creation is the power of compounding. So if you started with 10,000 rupees a month, okay, in say 1, 2 or 3 of the funds that is completed 20 years and above. So in 1 year you would have invested 1,20,000. 10 years it would have been 12 lakh rupees. In 20 years, it would be 24 lakh rupees. So if you invested for a period of 10 years, or the last 10 years, your 12 lakh rupees technically would have become anywhere about 24, 25 lakh rupees. Now, if you had the habit of continuing and investing for a period of 20 years, from 1997 till today, only 10,000 rupees a month, that investment of 24 lakh rupees, the amount for all the 3 funds that have completed 20 years is anywhere between 2.75 to about 3 crore plus. That is what is power of compounding.
Right. So our core topic of discussion today is asset allocation. For all the young employees here who've just started working, just thinking of starting to save, Ankur, can you explain that term to them? How important is asset allocation? How important is it to have a diversified portfolio?
Sure. Well, first of all, we often tend to be driven by the investment products, and we associate investment products as asset classes. For example, oftentimes I've heard people talking about mutual fund as an asset class. But let me just deep dive into what are the asset classes, broadly. So one is the bond asset class. often people are aware of bond as corporate bonds or government bonds, but even your fixed deposit is classified in a bond category. The next level would be the equity, which is, it can be a direct equity or through mutual funds or even through ULIPs. The third category is gold. You can buy gold or you can invest in ETFs, sovereign gold fund. That's the third category. And the fourth category, and probably I'll limit myself, are the alternative asset classes, say private equity and venture capital, which are achievable only for ultra HNI clients. So two asset classes I usually focus on, which are called traditional asset classes. One is bond and the other is equity. You can have any underlying within them, but your return is predominantly defined by how these asset classes are performing. So if equity is overvalued, let's say, and if you go ahead and invest in the best performing mutual fund, the chances of you not making money are very high. So you should always focus on what is the underlying of wherever you are investing. But always remember that a combination of these will help you manage your money better.
Right. So what are those parameters that define asset allocation for any individual?
So if you look at power of compounding that I suggested, power of compounding works well if the time horizon is long. It does not efficiently work if the time horizon is less than 5 years. Right. So if you have goals or objectives that is coming within the time frame of 1 to 5 years, then you can choose funds which is bonds oriented, that is fixed deposit kind of a product, or a bond mutual fund. If you have a 4 or 5 year time horizon, then you can create a hybrid product. What is a hybrid product? A mix of equity and a bond fund together. That creates a balanced fund for you. So if you actually allocate money in that based on your goals, most likely you will arrive at an asset allocation yourself.
Okay, so let me bring in some audience questions at this point in time. Shivam Sabarwal, he's manager of the Treasury and Corporate Finance Department here at Fortis. His question is, how to select a mutual fund? What is the withdrawal time limit in NPS? What are tax implications on these? Ankur?
So talking about bonds to begin with, bond mutual funds, well, all bond mutual funds are not the same. They have very, very different risk profile. We can start with the liquid bond or the liquid fund, which is the lowest category from a risk profile. It will return you similar to what you get on FD, but it is liquid. You can withdraw at any point in time. Right. Followed by the ultra short-term debt fund, and then short-term debt fund, medium-term debt fund, and long-term debt fund. I would often recommend people, unless you're planning for your retirement and you're mapping, 15-year or a 10-year horizon, you should stay away from a medium-term or a long-term category because they are very, very risky in terms of the daily fluctuations you see in them. So try and stay in liquid, ultra short-term debt fund category. From a taxation point of view, these are treated similar to an FD if you're invested for less than 3 years. But if you're invested for more than 3 years, then you get indexation benefit. What I feel is why NPS is good is whatever management of money you have to do, the split, you can actually use the age level asset allocation and it can allocate accordingly. It focuses purely on the retirement. So it can be a very long-term instrument, and the management within NPS also is handled at a very, very low expense ratio.
At this point in time, we are going to head into a short break. On the other side of the break, we are going to learn all about goal-based investing from a set of financial experts right here at Fortis in Gurugram. Welcome back to Season 5 of NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18. Today we are in Gurugram at the Fortis Memorial Research Institute, and a set of financial experts is here engaging with the employees of Fortis. In this segment, we are going to learn all about goal-based investing, how it's important for us to link our life's goals with our investment plans. So let's begin by classifying short, medium, and long term as far as investments are concerned. Ankur?
When you think of a personal goal, you have to reflect on your, personal situation in terms of, your own retirement. I always classify your own retirement as the first goal you should be planning for. The reason for that is you do get education loan for your kids, but you don't get retirement loan. You have to plan for it. After retirement would be followed by usually your education for kids, their marriage. So depending upon your personal situation, those could be medium term to long term goals. Anything beyond 5-year time frame can have equity exposure, and I would rather say should have equity exposure if you really want to beat the inflation. Probably besides this, I will always keep some portion of money for the liquidity. Right. God forbid, anything can happen. So having a liquidity for 3 to 6 months in a FD or a ultra short-term debt fund is a must.
Okay. And how does one decide how much to invest? On a monthly basis, if I have a short-term goal or a medium-term goal, how do I know that how much, what percentage of my income am I supposed to put away for that goal?
In fact, India has a savings rate of almost 30%. Okay. If you want to be in that race, ideally 30% of your earnings should go into the savings rate, very simply. But having said that, if you are still not doing that, a bare minimum of 25% is absolutely essential for balancing your present life consumption and your future life consumption.
All right. Okay, so let's get in some more audience questions. The next one here is from Vinod Varke, who's Assistant Manager of HR. And the dream is to have a home at his hometown and also fund the child's education at an international university. The amount he wants to accumulate is about 1 crore rupees. 15-year time horizon. On a monthly basis, if he saves 20,000, is that going to be enough?
1 crore is today's cost. Will the cost remain the same after 15 years? The answer is probably not. Most of the education, foreign education, has 5% inflation, and similarly for Indian education is 10% at which it grows. So the cost will probably not be 1 CR. On the home front, I need to have the numbers in terms of, what it will accumulate. But right. 20 years should, 20,000 in 15 years should be upwards of 60 lakhs in total, 60, right. 65 lakhs. So even in today's time, probably this money will not be sufficient to meet the goal.
Okay. All right. So maybe, Vinod, you can up those savings every month by a couple of thousand. But Tanveer, we Indians have this fetish for the yellow metal. On every happy occasion, we like to buy gold, we like to gift gold. And jewelry, of course, is not really an investment. But there are other ways to invest in gold. You have the sovereign gold bonds and you have coins that you can invest in. Is that a good option in today's market?
See, gold is one of the safest currency. It protects you in adverse economic scenarios. The options available for gold investing are sovereign gold bond or your gold monetization scheme, the gold ETF. So the best as of now would be the sovereign gold bond that you invest.
All right. Another question here from Manish Bhattar, who's the head of Treasury and Corporate Finance. The dream is a financially independent retirement. The amount he wants to accumulate is about 8 crore rupees. If on a monthly basis he saves 2 lakh rupees for the next 7 years, considering he's 43 right now, is that good enough?
See, 2 lakh rupees per year, it's about 24 lakh rupees a year. Yeah. That's into 7, approximately 2 crores. Okay. Now that should not be sufficient in 7-year time horizon. If you allow a little time, then perhaps it could help you achieve that number of 8 crores. But in 7 years, it will be difficult because power of compounding may not be working very efficiently in that.
Okay, so on that note, we are going to head into another short break. But on the other side, our financial experts will be engaging directly on one-on-ones with the employees of Fortis Memorial Research Institute right here at Gurugram. You're watching our special series, NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18. Welcome back to Season 5 of NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18. Today we are at the Fortis Memorial Research Institute in Gurugram, and we are engaging with the employees here at Fortis. In this segment, our financial experts are set to take questions from all of them. So anyone who has questions, kindly raise your hand and wait for the mic to reach you, please.
My question is on the NPS. Right now, it's while we look out at PPF or any other investment from the government side, the investment schemes, they all are under the EEE category, while NPS is EET.
Yes, absolutely.
So more lights on the time when somebody withdraws at the age of 60.
If you look at the PPF, when it's triple E exempt, as you rightly said, while you're investing the interest as well as the majority amount, whichever it comes. In NPS, it's not the case so. You may save tax when you invest up to 50,000 rupees, and partially it's tax-free, the 1/3 component. The 2/3 component, the annuity that comes, is taxable. In many cases, why I don't find this particular attractive is that it is actually deferment of tax. As I said, power of compounding works. A small amount of money grows exponentially big when you retire. And 2/3 of the money annuity that you get, when gets taxable, is nothing but deferment of tax.
All right. Yes, please go ahead.
Hi, my name is Tanushree. I head PR for the region NCR. My question is, we keep talking about the goals for retirement. But what kind of investment should retired people, like I have my parents who've retired, what kind of investment, safe investment, should retired people look at?
It's a factor of two things. One is how much money they need on a monthly basis or yearly basis, and how much is the corpus, how much is the total investment they have. If the money they need is very closely related to the corpus they have in terms of the return, then they should try and restrict themselves into the safest category, because losing any form of investment, the corpus, might just impact their lifestyle because the money will reduce. However, when they reflect on how much they need, the difference is there, as in there is a positive surplus on the corpus side, then that portion of money can also grow. So you can very well invest into equity even when you're retired, but only when there is a surplus of the corpus needed.
Anyone else? Yes, the girl on your left. Yes.
How much is enough to save or invest in healthcare?
Two good insurance that you should buy, and that should start even before you start investing. One is the health insurance that you should have. The other is a good online term insurance, which is nothing but income replacement. Now what you could do is create a combination of two products, because we don't want to dish out a huge amount of premium either, right? So what we do, you can create a base insurance policy of say 5 lakh rupees from a good company. What you can add is a super top up of about say 20 lakh thereabout minimum at least. That super top up comes at a very, very nominal fee. So if you add this cover, a 25 lakh cover to even a 35, 40-year-old will not be more than 20,000 rupees. And by up to a limit of 25,000, you get tax rebate under section 80D.
Yes.
Okay. So you can actually create a good health insurance for yourself by creating this combination.
All right. So we're completely timed out on this episode. Thank you so much, all of you at Fortis, for having us here and for being such a participative audience today. With that, it's a wrap of this episode of NSE FinWiz, powered by CNBC TV 18. Mark Twain once said that the secret of getting ahead is getting started. So get started with those dreams of yours. Get started with investing wisely. And FinWiz is always here for insights. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.
The event was very insightful. The questions from the employees, you keep on talking about investment plans over a cup of tea with other colleagues. But to hear it from the experts and to get their perspective and to know that why investing in a market-linked products can also be beneficial rather than investing only in a traditional portfolio like a PPF or a fixed deposits.
The whole event was quite useful for us because as doctors we are not much into our financial planning, so I think this gave me an insight how to do my financial planning in future.
Traditionally, we like to invest in fixed deposits and traditional way of investing the way our parents taught us. But with these sessions, it just gives us a different perspective how we can invest better.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.